Well, I thought I had an issue with this brand new carburetor on the Suzuki, and believe it or not, I don't know what the heck the rest of the country is doing, but it's like 80 something degrees here in Florida and sunny, believe it or not. But a lot of people knock this stuff Marvel Mystery Oil. The reason I used to run this Marvel Mystery Oil in this car since brand new, it's got over 200,000 miles on it. When you change the oil at 3,000 miles, it stays exactly full to the top. Upper oil cylinder lubricant does preserve your cylinder walls, valves, and pistons. So anyway, I thought the carb was having a problem. It was flooding out. And I says, man, they must have adjusted the float issue wrong or something. Well, I put some Marvel Mystery Oil in the gas tank. It's probably cleared it up. It sure seems to be. I was able to idle it down and everything. And now, like I said, this is a right-hand drive Suzuki. So I had to put the float bolt in the front, but I've been running this at 2 pounds of pressure on my pressure regulator, and it even runs fine at 1 pound because this thing just sips fuel. I drove it up and down the street a little bit, not really that far, but just to test it out. And normally, you'd have the float bolt to the back, but I don't think I'm going to have any issues going up and down hills. But I noticed when I got this carb, I was thinking, hey man, I'm trying this out, it's flooding. Actually, I pull this off and I see gas coming out of here. This actually which means it's pumping too much fuel into the flow. It had nothing to do with no other issues other than the carb itself, even though it was a brand new rebuild. This hose, by the way, goes back to the charcoal canister. Basically, it's supposed to actually bring evaporated gas from your gas tank, liquefy it, and then some of the vapors, it goes back and it recirculates into the carburetor. This is a direct line into the fuel bowl. I should also point out, if you really want to add some gas to this carburetor when it's dry and you try to run it without a fuel pump and there's no pressure, the best way to add some gas is through this, not the fuel intake, because the fuel inlet has to push the flow up. It's easier to actually add some gas this way. I found that out as well. And another thing, this is an old school trick. You notice this is a special type of screwdriver. Now in my case, it's a little bit difficult, but it's not difficult actually. I could turn this, I could reach my hand in here, no problem. It's easy as hell. But you can see the screw is in a different position on mine because I have the right hand drive, but you can use this special type of screwdriver and it turns this screw no problem. See, in other words, it grips. This is made for carburetors. You see how it grips on both sides of the screw? So if you got a carburetor you're trying to adjust and the screws are a pain in the ass, you might be trying it with the regular type and it's always slipping off. Get this type. I've had this for years. It's been an old standby. But anyway, it runs good. And also, the only thing I got to do is adjust the choke cable a little bit. Everything's adjusted fine. I need 3 bolts for this air cleaner. This is just for your information, it looks like they're 5mm and 20mm long. 3 bolts, one here and 2 on the other side. So it'll be to perfection. So I want to start it up and show you it driving around. So it does seem like it works fine. I thought I had an issue at first, but there must have been some crap in the line someplace, even though I blew the lines out, and it must have got stuck in a needle valve and it caused a flooding issue. And like I said, repeating it again, I keep tons of this Marvel Mystery Oil around for that reason. Okay, so it's been running good now. Now even starting out in second. And just going over some bumps, it's not even stalling out or nothing. So that's telling me something. It's working pretty good. It's got a little bit cold again. When it warms up, it'll smooth out again. May need a minor adjustment on the air fuel mixture and the idle, but it's idling pretty good. idling pretty good, not too bad, and seems like it has good power right from the low end, because like I said, this is starting out from second. So when you're doing that, that's telling you something. And I just, you know, it's sat for a little bit. It's a little bit cold right now. When it fully warms up, it's good. So you see it's idling pretty good. And you know, I might need to do just a tiny little minor adjustment, but it should run good. It should run good. It seems that the carburetor had some crap in it from when maybe the lines, you know, I thought I cleaned the lines out perfect and I had a fuel filter, but might have got a little crap in there, and that was the problem. But you can see good response. Again, this is going up a slight hill on my driveway. This is in second gear. That's good. That's good. No bog, no hesitation. So, you know, if you're going up a, you know, that's not first gear, so that should be pretty good. Yeah, I should also add that on this carburetor, Rock Auto is selling clearance, because this is an old carburetor, 78 Toyota. The rebuild kit for like $4 or $5, and the float is like $5. So I got a rebuild kit and a float coming for like $10 plus, I don't know, $4 shipping. And I figure, what the hell, for the future, because if I keep this thing a really long time, this thing will need to be rebuilt at some point in time in the future, maybe some years down the road, and I'll have the parts for, and it might be very, very difficult to get, say, 5 years down the road. So that cost me, for a brand new float and a complete rebuild kit, $15 delivered. So clearance Rock Auto, for your information. So if you're looking at this video, and even if you have an old carburetor, they got they're clearancing out the rebuild kits on these. So get them now, because later on they probably going to be really hard to get.